I wanted to get a video out on the SCOTTeVEST LightEST vest because it's brand new and I haven't been able to find a video on it. So I wanted to have a video from a paying customer, bought this with my own money, and talk about some of the things that I like about it and maybe some of the things that are not so great. So that's what we're going to get into in this video. I've had SCOTTeVESTs for years now. My purchase history I think goes back to 2018. So I've had them for a long time, used them for various things. I currently have the previous RFID travel vest and 2 Tropiformer jackets, which double as vests. I'm going to show some of those in a second to have some comparison. But first thing, I want to talk about the philosophy of use for me and this LightEST vest. One of the things that I'm looking for is the ability to carry more stuff every day, or carry the things that I might need every day without necessarily needing a bag. And that doesn't just mean for travel. And so one of the things that would enable that is a vest that feels light enough to wear in the summer and have all the things that I need. And that's really the purpose of this vest. The hope is I can wear it in the summer and not be too hot, not be too uncomfortable in almost any circumstance. And so that's why I purchased this vest, again, with my own money. So I will have a link for a referral down below. I think currently those referral links will get you 25% off on your first order. You can use that. Maybe you'll find a better sale than that. But if you do want to see more content like this, use that referral link below. Now let's get into my opinions on this vest. So far, I love it. I love the feel of it. I love the amount of pockets it has for the things that I need, for how I approach my everyday use. I'm going to go through a quick loadout of what I have in my pockets. This phone is just a dummy phone. I'm actually using my phone to record right now. So this is one of my old phones. It's a little bit smaller than my iPhone 16 Pro. My iPhone 16 Pro is in a mouse case, so it's not a super small case. It fits in here. What you just saw me do, it works with that. Now, I did have to get into a little bit of a technique to get it into the interior pocket, this interior phone pocket, which I do like keeping it in there. So I kind of grip here and pull up on it, and I can do that without even looking at it, and that works pretty well. Currently, I'm putting my wallet inside of the RFID blocking pocket here. So that is a wallet that I use, and I do have my keys set up and hooked up to the keychain. This is one thing that I think could be a concern. I'm going to show my Tropiformer. One of my Tropiformers has a tiny little hole in it. I think because of the thinness of the fabric, you can end up having these keys. If you have keys in this pocket, it can be a friction point for if your vest rubs up on something. I don't recall exactly how a tiny hole developed in this area, what I was doing, or if I was wearing a backpack with a belt strap. I don't remember exact specifics, but one of my Tropiformer vests does have that. So I wanted to call that out. This could be a little bit of concern. It's very thin. Now, that does work for me for now. I'm just going to be careful with it. I keep my iPod, my AirPods Pro inside of what is, I think, the credit card pouch in here. I like this better than some of the other designated pouches that have Velcro sealing. The Velcro sealing ones that you might be designated for this, like they have a pocket in here, has Velcro. It makes it difficult to get the AirPods out, so I don't like that. I like having the AirPods right here, quickly, easily accessible. I like the zippers. The zippers feel good. I had concern about having them hang up. It's not really getting hung up. I do like that they went with a thicker zipper. The teeth on the zipper of the LightEST vest, I don't know if they've done this on other normal vests, but this is the first one that I have that has this thicker teeth main zipper, and I think that does work pretty well. Overall, I like the feel of it. It does breathe pretty well. I'm filming this in March 2025. It's still not super hot yet in the area that I live in, so it's not like I've fully tested its lightness. But right now I'm in my house. I'm wearing what would be an undershirt and a button-up shirt. This is a Western Rise merino shirt, and it is comfortable here in my house. That's somewhere around 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So the vest overall, the lightness does feel good. Haven't fully tested its temperature in hot weather. Drop comments below if you have questions on that. Maybe I'll do a follow-up on how I feel in 80 to 90 degree out weather, and that's I still have to test that. So I'll probably post a follow-up video with that sort of thing. One of the things that is a concern with pretty much everybody who posts about SCOTTeVEST is the price. The price is expensive. I think this lists at $184. They pretty regularly run sales. Like I said, check below. You can get my referral link if you want to get a 25% off discount. But even with that discount, this is pretty expensive. It's probably more expensive than even some of the other high-end vests you might get out there. Now, most of them are not going to have the capabilities that this vest has. So before I jump into comparisons with other things, I'm going to walk through some of the extra things. I showed some tiny items that I put in here, but I'm going to show a couple of things that I had of concern. So this is an M1 iPad Pro. It's in the keyboard case. So this is not the newer one. I think is like a little bit thinner and all of that. The footprint might be a little bit thinner. I'm not sure about the M4 version of the iPad Pro, but this is where the iPad pocket is. This is not really going to fit. I mean, you can kind of force it in there and to get the iPad Pro in the case inside here, but it's not what I would want to do with this. So their design intent was not that. It is to fit an iPad up to 13 inches, and that it can very comfortably do with just the iPad, not in the keyboard case. Very comfortably fits in there. One thing a lot of videos out there don't really show is what does that look like when you're carrying it. So if I'm like sticking out, you can see that it does print the iPad. But if I'm standing normally, I'm going to go ahead and turn around a little bit. If I'm just standing normally, you can see that it still probably sticks out a bit there. It's noticeable that you're carrying an iPad. So that's just something to consider. It's not a huge deal in my opinion. So one other thing is does have a back pocket, and if you want the full pocket layout, you can go on their website to see it. I'm just going to walk through some of the things that I'm using this for. And I would use this if possibly on a trip, maybe a business trip, and I need to fit more items because I like to do kind of one bag travel. Now it is easier. One thing, generally speaking, with all of the SCOTTeVESTs, I find that if you have it zipped up, it carries the weight better. That is just kind of how I find the vests to be. And I'm finding a little bit of difficulty getting this into the pocket. So the back pocket, it's harder to get things into it. But it will be easier to get things out of it. And this is slightly large, but it does fit in there. But as you can see, it's visible. So just wanted to show that. That is a thing that you can do. You can put an iPad Pro in both the front pocket and in the back pocket. I am having a little bit more trouble getting it out than I normally would, but there. So it can be retrieved, so that does work. And the other thing I want to show is this is an M1 MacBook Air. This does fit. I'm not going to demonstrate the back with this as well, but it actually fits very well inside of the front pouch. And it does print, but it does carries the weight okay. One thing I will say about many of these vests is that put the iPad, or you can put a laptop in there, put it in this side, and then they also put the keys and the water bottle pouch on this side. I don't actually think that makes sense, and I can fit this water bottle. This is a silicone water bottle that I can fit inside of this here. But I think it doesn't make sense to do that. I mean, again, this looks a little bit ridiculous. Like this is not how I would normally use this. I might put a water bottle in there temporarily, but for the most part, I'm not going to usually carry it like this. Or if I'm on a hike and I don't really care how I look, that's fine to me. But this does not look like how I would want to be carrying things. Maybe if you're boarding a flight and you need to stuff some things in here to get it out of your carry-on or personal item bag. I'm all about one bag travel, no check bags. So that's part of the philosophy of use for me as well. Maybe that makes sense to do for temporarily. But realistically, what you should do if you have a full water bottle is put it in on the other side. You don't necessarily need to have that retention strap that is in this pocket where on the same side as your laptop pocket. And it carries the weight pretty well. I mean, I feel it. But I do think that the new version, so all of the versions of stuff, other SCOTTeVEST that I have are from years ago. I do have on order the new Best travel vest. So if you want to see a review for that, drop a comment below. I might end up putting a review for that up anyway, but comment below if you want to see a review for that. But the older vests, I think they might have done some bit of redesign on how the weight is carried. It does feel like this vest is carrying the weight better than my other vests. So that's this vest holding the various items that you might end up putting in there. You can also use, so like this is a GoPro with the tripod selfie stick mount. You can put this is actually one of the uses, like a tripod that I might have that I might want to carry my camera setup. I can kind of pop that in there. It carries well and it works well. So I think that there's a lot of different uses and why I want to have this vest, and I think it's really great stuff that they're doing. The biggest concern that I have is the price, and that is probably where most people are going to complain. And I think if it was, a good bit cheaper, maybe if it was under $100, I think it'd be an easy sell in my opinion. But even with discount codes, it's not likely to ever get down to that kind of price. So that's the biggest thing. Now, it is stain resistant, so there's water resistant, stain resistant in the claims. One of the things that I do when I get something is I like to wear it all the time, doing whatever it is that I'm doing. So I've worn this vest in order to have meals and all of that. I did get a little bit of food on it, and it does have a tiny little spot. I think there was just a higher concentration of oil in that bit of food. So there's a little bit of a spot, and that's part of why I like getting a color that might hide it a bit more. If you want to see a close-up on what that spot looks like, I'm not going to put it in this video, but it's like somewhere around here, and it is something that it could happen. So when you're paying this amount of money, and it is stain resistant, but certain types of things like oils and fats, grease, these things still could end up staining. Really, it's just the nature of all of this stuff. It's very hard to protect against that because a lot of these coatings are sort of oil-based to protect against things. So that is just something to be concerned about when you pay this amount of money for a vest, a piece of clothing like this, that you might wear all the time, like with my use case. With all that, I'm going to go ahead and compare. I'm going to go ahead and show the material. So with the Tropiformer it is really good. I think from a lightness perspective, the LightEST vest probably is a little bit lighter. One of the things and reasons why I got this is this doesn't have the mesh on the back. I think it looks a lot better without the mesh. So when you have the Tropiformer, I have my black one that is set up without the jacket part on it. So the thing that I did have concern, this is why I have a concern about the keys being in that pocket on this lighter fabric. So this is the hole that developed, I think, as a product of having those keys there and having this lightweight fabric on the Tropiformer. This is the older version of the Tropiformer, so it still has the iPad pocket that does not fit a bigger iPad. So that's the big thing. I think this is I really like the Tropiformer. I think it has a lot of versatility and it is very useful. But the thing that I don't like is for general purposes that are not, if I'm trying to look like more normal and it's not just an outing maybe in a business casual setting, this mesh that's on the back that does help with the breathability, you can see through it a little bit there. It doesn't look as good. The pockets don't look as good as I think on this vest. So those are some of the things that I don't like as much about the Tropiformer when I compare it to this vest. I think I really like the look of this vest, and it feels really nice. And as I said, it carries the weight a bit better than my than the older stuff. So the LightEST vest carries the weight a bit better than the Tropiformer, and even better than I have. This is the old RFID vest. This one I did get in tall, so this can fit a very big stuff into it, and it does have the iPad pocket on the opposite side of the water bottle. So that's nice. But one other thing that I don't like as much, the older versions did have this plastic. They've pivoted to the newer versions having see-through with a mesh on the inside, but this one doesn't have that. So there's no like viewing your phone while it's in your pocket kind of thing. But I do think that this LightEST vest carries the weight better than even the older RFID vest. So I'm curious to see and feel how the new updated Best Travel Vest feels. So again, if you have any questions, love to hear from you. Drop the comments below. As I said, there is a referral link in the description below. I have a lot of interest in, one bag travel and these different things. I might be doing some more reviews on this channel about that. Let me know if that's the content that you're interested in. I have done various business travel trips and things like that. So the goal for me when I do one bag travel is possibly that I might be packing dress shirts and things like that so that I can do business things. So I might need to pack more than I might for a normal leisure trip. That makes it easier. I have a lot of different bags. If you want to see any of these bags, I'm going to go ahead and list off some of the ones that I have. Primary one that I'm using these days is the ULA Dragonfly 30 liter. Thinking about getting the 36 liter just to have a little bit more space. But I also have the Wandered Provoke. I have the Peak Design travel backpack, the bigger one. It's, in my opinion, I don't use that much anymore because it's, in my opinion, a little bit too heavy. It feels like it's wasted weight inside of that bag to some degree. I have the Outdoor Vitals. This is one that most travelers won't talk about or don't know about. The Outdoor Vitals Coda UL. So this is a backpacking and outdoors-based company who did make a travel backpack. And it's a really good backpack. It carries the weight really well. So if you want to see a video on that, let me know in the comments below. I've got, I have, the Cotopaxi Alpa. I was one of the crowdfunding backers on that, so that goes back a long while. There was another crowdfunding campaign, was like an Era travel backpack. You can't even buy that. That company failed. So I've tried a lot of different bags for one bag travel, and my goal is to have both a one bag travel and the everyday carry be in one bag. So I'm on a journey to that. If you have recommendations in your opinion, right now I'm kind of using the Dragonfly as that, but I'm actually considering getting the Matador Globe Rider 35. I think it might do a little bit better for those purposes, but let me know in the comments below what your opinions are on all those things. I have a lot of different things. I enjoy gear and finding stuff that makes my life better. And that journey sometimes means that I'm buying a lot of different stuff. So would love to hear from you in the comments, and thanks for watching.